Ricky Gartz.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Vice President Good, Mayor Matt, council members, members of the public. Director West could not be with us tonight, so I'm Ricky Gartz. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the city, and I will be going over the accomplishments of the Finance Department, and then I will take your questions. The Department of Finance includes 4 divisions: Audit and Control, Purchasing, Tax Assessor, and Tax Collector. The total proposed 2021 budget for the department is $2,194,349, which is a decrease of 4.58% from the adopted 2020 budget. Salary and wages increased 1.42%, and other expenses were reduced by 6%. The 2020 key accomplishments were: there was no tax increase in 2020. The Moody's ratings remained at A1 for our bonds and MIG1 for bond anticipation notes, with a positive outlet for the city. We added $8 million to fund balance. The tax collection rate increased to a record 97.54%. We sold $1.2 million in city-owned property. We had 0 audit findings in 2019. Invested approximately $4 million in the infrastructure based upon our capital initiatives. Our key priorities for this year will be a 0 tax increase once again. We will identify and implement a health benefit alternative. We have our economic development that Ms. Jackson has already spoken about. We have the fund programs to play a lead role in the community health and wellness. Reduce overtime costs. Sell city-owned properties. Look for property tax stabilization, continue investing in the city's infrastructure through our ordinances, reverse the decline in our ratables, safely restore the modified recreation programs, which are included in this budget, regenerate in excess of $5 million in surplus, hope to accomplish a tax rate of at least 97%, generate at least $600,000 in new grant revenues, and maintain our Moody's MIG1 rating for the short-term financing and A1 bond financing. We would like to include another 0 audit findings year, as well as implement energy savings initiatives. The budget snapshots that we have for each of the department are as follows. The overall Director of Finance budget was reduced by 0.04%. Salaries went up 0.43% due to contractual increases, and other expenses went down by 0.57%. The Audit and Control budget was up 10.35%, with salaries up 18% due to contractual increases, as well as the transfer of a function from purchasing to Audit and Control, the restoration of an accountant position into the budget, and a 6.13% decrease in other expenses. The purchasing overall budget was reduced by 12.56%, with salaries reduced by 10.77% due to the hiring of an individual at a lower salary than was previously on the books. And other expenses were reduced by 74.8% with the reductions in travel and professional training and development. The administrative services budget was reduced by 8.12% with a reduction in equipment rentals and leases by $15,000 due to a new copier lease agreement and a reduction in equipment repair, maintenance, and replacement. Tax assessor's budget increased by 4.8%, with salaries going up 5.9% for contractual increase, and the plan to bring on a replacement tax assessor by the current assessor retires by the end of the year. So we've made provisions in the budget to have somebody on board for an extra month in December to transition properly. Other expenses were decreased by 4.39% due to a projection reduction in the tax appeal appraisals. And the tax collector's overall budget was reduced by 12.9%, with salaries down 11.7% as a result of the elimination of an administrative position, as well as other expenses were decreased by 22.4% with the elimination of an extra printing for the tax bills that we had to incur in 2020 due to having the third tax bill mailer. That is my summary of our budgets, and I will take questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gartz. Councilwoman Mills Ransom.
Thank you, Vice President Good. I do not have any questions, and my taxes are in the mail.
I'll let Dave know.
Councilman McKenna.
Yes, I have two questions. One is the outside consulting line
Yeah,
under,
which budget?
hold on, I'll tell you, Director of Finance. 002-219.
Yes.
So we've never spent 150. The most we spent is 99,000. Prior to that, the most we spent is 75,000. So what's the outside consulting for?
That includes the Mercury Group that was just hired, as well as Millennium Strategies. And there's a third company that we do grant writing for that's included in that.
Mercury is 60, Millennium 60. So there's the other one is
The Aubrey Group. The Aubrey Group, I think we have a little part in there for.
Aubrey Group. Okay. And then I'm going to mess this up because I wrote my note based on memory, but the software system that we've invested so much money in, and I have it down as Murphy Humphreys, but it's not it.
Mitchell Humphreys.
Mitchell Humphreys. Thank you very much. Where are we with that? Because that was supposed to be, that was a significant investment by the taxpayers, and it was supposed to streamline things and allow for some online activities and things, but
To the best of my knowledge, they keep expanding each department to be included in that. The actual, where it stands at this point, I'd have to get back to you on the specifics.
okay. And are we done spending money on that, or are we still licensing that?
That I'd have to get an answer for you on. I know that we pay them an annual fee for the operational part of it, but that we're keep expanding. At this point, I don't know of any new additional things that are coming on board that we're paying for.
Okay. And actually, if you could get me that info, that'd be great. I appreciate it. And my third question is just something that I saw based on a job posting. Are you leaving us?
I am, sir. Yes.
And when are you leaving us?
May 19th.
May 19th. Well, you'll be missed. I enjoy your directness.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman McKenna. Our Finance Chair, Councilman McCray. You're on mute, sir.
I'm a little slow. Good afternoon, CFO. Just want to say thank you for bringing us another zero budget. I know you work hard with the Director of Finance to make sure that our finances are always on point as you give direct answers to questions. And the fact that we have zero audit findings is a testament to yours and the directors and your whole department's knowledge and work in making sure that we adhere to all the standards of accounting. Also, the last article that we just read from Moody's, which gave us a very favorable rating, is commendable. That we are in such a pandemic time, still receiving rewards and citations for the work that you guys are doing, and that the city is in a far better place than we've ever been in the 30-something years that I've been here, or 38 years to be exact. So I just want to say thank you to you, to your department, and to all the people that support you, and that you are doing a very good job here for the citizens of Plainfield. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I appreciate the kind words. If I could just add that, it's a daily grind, but everybody, not just my department, every department head, every division head has a part in getting zero audit findings. It's not just my department. I just oversee it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Councilman McCray. Councilwoman Davis.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Gartz, in the goals and objectives, it said that we received over $1 million in new grant revenue. How much of that came from the CARES Act? Do you know?
Off the top of my head, I would probably estimate about $600,000 of that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, not the CARES Act, not the CARES Act specifically. That was $400,000 that we were supposed to get from the CARES Act. There were supplemental fundings for the COVID-19 that we got regarding grants along that way for another $400,000.
Okay. How much did we get from the CARES Act or related to
Approximately
the CARES Act?
$400,000.
Okay, thank you. You said that there was an increase in the Director of Finance's budget and salaries of 4%. But you said that was contractual, but it's my understanding that the contractual raises are at 1.5%. So how do they have a 4% increase in salaries?
1 second there. I don't believe I said there was 4% in his budget.
You said it was 4% in somebody's budget. But if contractual is 1.5%,
His salaries only went up 0.43%. The Director of Finance is what I said.
okay, that's fine. Maybe I heard 4.3. Thank you. While you're not the Director of Finance, professional development is always underspent in his budget. But yet he continues to ask for $1,000. Do you know what the plans are for those funds?
Off the top of my head, no. I know that his administrative assistant, he was looking to take a few classes, but I'd have to get the specifics back to you.
Thank you. I'll reach out to him via email.
Okay,
Those are all my questions.
thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Davis. Councilwoman Welch.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gartz, thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you, and I will agree with you that it's a joint effort on all the departments, but you're the transmission of the city. And I will say a pun intended when I say the buck stops with you. So I can't say that I'm excited that you will be departing and leaving, but we have appreciated all the work that you have done, especially over the last 2 years where things have been quite challenging throughout the city and with each department that is ran here. So we thank you for all that you have done and what you will do prior to your departure. Okay. CDAC, Chairwoman Robin Bright.
Thank you, Vice President Good.
You're welcome.
CFO Gratz, we actually have a list of questions that we submitted to Director West. And he did provide answers to the CBAC members. So I'm not sure if you have a copy of that.
I do.
Okay, so if you like, I can read the questions out, and if you...
Sure.
All righty, so we'll start with the first few questions are under the goals. The first question was related to the health benefits, and we were wondering if there was any alternatives that are being explored to help offset the $2.5 million proposed increase in the health benefit. And if not achieved, how would this affect the budget?
Well, we went around and around with all these alternatives, and we looked for a lot of different ones, and we ended up with a number of possible alternatives and ultimately decided to go with the New Jersey State Health Benefits Fund. We transitioned from Aetna to the State Health Benefits Plan on April 1st, which will save us that $2.5 million increase. If that $2.5 million increase was in this budget, there would definitely not be a zero tax increase.
Thank you. The next question was, can you clarify the zero increase in budget minus the increase in healthcare?
Yes, we were able to submit a zero increase budget for 2021, including managing the health benefit challenges due to the contractual increases. Each of the organizations were asked to submit at the leanest budgets possible. So citywide, every department and every division, what they submitted was as lean as possible to get us to where we are today.
Alrighty. The next question is the 9 million in surplus. We was wondering where it was coming from and how sustainable is relying on surplus to balance the budget.
There's multiple factors that came into play to contribute to the $9 million from surplus. The tax collection rate was 97.54%. Was higher than what was budgeted for, so that excess revenue dropped into our surplus. The miscellaneous revenues, like the sales of $1.2 million in city-owned properties, contributed to that surplus. And the tight expenditure controls were all key contributors. The long-term plan is to identify alternative revenue sources. Economic expansion is a critical aspect of this. I can tell you right now that we know for sure our appropriations that will lapse in this year will be about $3 million to rebuild towards that $9 million. So if tax collection and the federal aid that are out there come to fruition, there's another 3.1 million that will contribute to rebuilding the 9.1.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question had to do with the goals. And if the census count is not achieved, what effect will it have on the budget and services?
Well, the census results have an impact on the federal dollars that the city receives through community service and community development block grants like CSBG and CDBG, respectively. Programs like the WIC, SNAP, and housing supplements, road programs, and funding for early childhood and school lunch programs are the types of programs where census results have an influence. So as long as our numbers are high enough, we will maintain or exceed what we've already been provided in the past years.
And if they're not?
It all depends what kind of drop off there might be. Again, I don't have the magic answer for numbers on that. It's a calculation that the federal government does based upon the actual numbers, which I do not have yet.
Okay, thank you. The next one is under the controller office, item number 230. And we wanted to know why the increase in the budget over last year's actual.
There was a new person added to the budget in audit and control. If you took that person out and looked at the overall budget, there's actually a slight decrease. But with that person coming on board, it makes it look like there is an increase. And that person was just a transfer from the purchasing department. They're doing the same tasks. They just are under my provision now.
Okay, thank you. Under Department 20-102-002- item number 232 for administrative services, can you please give some examples of community programs and initiatives that are handled by this department?
Sure. During 2020, there was an initiative for a new community clock downtown that we had to have installed. The installation costs came out of this for community initiatives. Celebrations like the 150th anniversary for any excess cost that would have occurred on that would have came out of this line item. Any community wellness initiatives in support of budgeted programs and other departments fall under this line item.
Okay, thank you. That was it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
CFO and Vice President Chair. Good.
Thank you, Chairwoman Robin Bright, for your questions.
You're welcome.
And we want to thank the CBAC for administering those questions to you so they may be delivered on tonight. We want to thank the Department of Finance, Department of Economic Development, and Department of Communications and Technology.